Come here. Get off.
Welcome to the penultimate episode of season 2 of The Turn On. So this week
That's
we're
a
going
very
to be
fancy
reading,
word.
because I took the SAT. I lied. No, I didn't. ACT. I had to
We
learn
should,
words.
yeah, that good Midwestern.
Good Midwestern
I took both.
and low standards. So this week we're reading from the complete works of Pat Parker. So we have a few of her poems. These poems were published in, like I said, the complete works of Pat Parker in 2016, and it was published by her daughter, Anastasia Dunham Parker Brady. So sit back, relax.
She holds the copyright.
Yes. So sit back, relax, get your wine, your weed, whatever you need, and enjoy.
Selections from the complete works of Pat Parker. Copyright by Anastasia Dunham Parker Brady. For Willis. When I make love to you, I try, with each stroke of my tongue, to say I love you, to tease, I love you, to hammer, I love you, to melt, I love you. And your sounds drift down. Oh God, oh Jesus. And I think, here it is, some dudes getting credit for what a woman has done. Again, from deep within. Nature tests those she will call hers. Slips up, naked and blank down dark paths. Skeletons of the sea. This we would become to suck a ray of sight from the fire. A woman's body must be taught to speak. Bearing a lifetime of keys, a patient soul moves through a maze of fear and bolts clothed in soft hues and many candles. The season's tongues must be heard and taken, and many paths built for the travelers. A woman's flesh learns slow by fire and pestle. Like succulent meats, it must be sucked and eaten. Aftermath for Marty. Did you know I watch you as you cuddle with sleep? Propped up on my elbow, close, your breath brushes back silence like a swimmer parting water. Your lips are tight now. If I close my eyes, they become a cool drink, full and wet. House an active tongue that travels my body like an explorer retracing familiar ground. If I close my eyes, I can feel your tongue dart from my ear to my neck to the crevice. A prospector, pause to take samples, inspect the ore, then move on. If I close my eyes, I can feel your tongue wrap around my nipples, tuck them deep in the corner of your mouth, and suck them with parched flowers. If I close my eyes, oh love, if I close my eyes, I become once again your hopeless captive, ready to submit. I think of the straight person who asks, what do you do in bed? Oh, how many times have I asked the same thing? My baby's a bass player, fingers me all the time, and when she get down, makes me feel so fine. She plays her modes every day, from A to A, makes me say, Jesus, honey, your hand's so kind. Don't think I'll last till you start on your lines. She studies chord changes day and night, practices charts until they're just right. But what really makes my temperature rise is when she gets down on me and starts to improvise. Metamorphosis. You take these fingers, bid them soft, a velvet touch to your loins. You take these arms, bid them pliant, a warm cocoon to shield you. You take this shell, bid it full, a sensual cup to lay with you. You take this voice, bid it sing, an uncaged bird to warble your praise. You take me, love, a sea skeleton, fill me with you, and I become pregnant with love, give birth to revolution.
So welcome back. I think we should just start with giving our listeners this was the first time I said listeners and not readers without
Hey, look at you.
a
Progress. Growth.
exactly growth.
You
So
miss me, yeah.
let's give our listeners a little bit of background on Pat Parker. So Pat Parker is a poet. She's a lesbian feminist. She did most of her work in the 60s and 70s, right?
Yeah, so she was born in 44, and yeah, by the time she got to the 60s, she really identified as a lesbian. And then she was super involved in like all the rights movements, civil rights, women's rights, gay rights. And she wrote poetry, but she also wrote a lot of other stuff too. One of the great things about her is that she wrote across genres, but because she is a poet, everything sounds beautiful. And like this. She, you mentioned that she is a feminist lesbian writer, and she's really one of the folks who's credited with helping to create the genre of black feminist literature alongside her mentor and friend, Audre Lorde, and a whole bunch of other dope-ass black women who wanted us to be free and knew that if black women were free, and especially queer black women were free, folks who have the most oppressors on us, then that would bring us all to freedom. That really centered a lot of her work. And she also did a lot of work around the erotic, which is why it was dope that we could pull some of her poems for the show today.
Yeah. So I guess we should just go through the poems one by one and give our thoughts on them. Let's start with the first one, For Willis. I just love the final line. Some dude's getting credit for what a woman has done again. Like,
I love it and I hate it.
Because even as you explained her and her work, and you think about that whole genre of just bomb ass black women doing the work, recognizing that we ain't all free if we ain't all free.
That's right.
Again, that's where it hits, but it starts in the bedroom too.
Like most things.
Exactly. But because you think about, like, even when it comes to like giving head.
You said giving head?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like oral sex, cunnilingus, with the vagina, not giving head to penis. You follow me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, yeah, you're just looking at me like, huh? Yeah, so even when you think about that, like, women do that really, really well. Because, they know their bodies. And it's always men getting the credit for it. But, no, I mean, white men do it well. Yes, they do.
You've
not to
said
make
that.
broad generalizations.
Never had a white man go down on me
But
before.
women do it very, very well, too. And,
I've also never had a woman go down on me before.
5 stars. I recommend a trip to that town.
5 out of 5.
Put it on your travel TripAdvisor list. But yeah, so it's like, damn, this nigga getting credit again when it's really the woman doing the work. Yeah. So I mean, and that took place, especially when you think about like Black Revolution and civil rights and all of that. Like, a lot of it really was the work of women,
queer black women.
Yeah.
And even still today, when you look at the Black Lives Matter movement and all the attendant organizations, it's the queer black women who are putting their lives on the line every day.
Yep. For you ashy niggas.
Who don't fucking deserve.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, so it's just, this is a beautiful poem, but even to end it like that, it's just like, oh, love is great.
Patriarchy.
It's beautiful. And then you just like, and again, fuck.
The patriarchy.
Bum, 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 bum.
It reminds me, remember when we went to the Blacksonian and we took the kids?
More racism.
Exactly.
It was like we was really just thinking that we were gonna see this great little exhibit.
Yeah.
And then
My kid
more
was like,
racism.
more racism, my God.
Yeah. We hadn't made it all the way to the top, so
Yeah, she hadn't seen the light.
Yeah, but it was
top,
definitely an oppressive trip through there.
That's
Although we
true.
still recommend the Blacksonian.
Yes, 5 out of 5.
But so even with the rest of the poem, I jumped straight to the end. But the rest of the poem was beautiful because to me, I saw it as like love comes in so many different ways. It can come hard and soft and fast and slow. And just because you're getting your brains fucked out don't mean that it's not love, you know?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
just because I feel like sometimes we equate love making with, you know, putting on Luther and I'm such an auntie. Putting on some Luther and Freddie Jackson and, you know.
I fucked the scissor.
Oh, God, no.
I do.
I do.
I mean,
everything
and that's
with
the
Luther.
light list because you know I got that other list that's like
They shake it fast list.
and- yeah.
But yeah, like you can fuck and you can make love to both SZA and Shake It Fast. You can make love to both Vanity, Nasty Girl, and Luther. See, that's where I am musically. Oh, but
No,
yeah,
that's real.
and so I think it's great that she shows that through that poem.
And
What were you gonna say?
I love that she, yeah, I mean, yes, like she's varying it, but I also just love that she's saying that I am showing you that I love you with this. Like,
Yeah.
I've been in it, I've been in this place where the kiss on the eyelid was the legit me saying I love you. I didn't have to use the words, but you felt that shit come from my lips to you.
Through your
You
body.
know, when I licked the bottom of your balls, I was saying, I love you.
Oh my God,
I just love, because we do talk a lot about sex and how, you know, as empowered women, right?
Yeah.
We know, and well, empowered people, we know that sex and love don't have to come together, but it was nice to see in this instance the way that she uses intimacy to show that she loves someone.
to say I love you.
Yes. Like that.
Yeah, so that was a beautiful, sweet little
Yeah, till the nigga came in.
till a nigga
I mean, we love
came
Jesus.
in.
I just realized I called Jesus a nigga. I mean, he is.
He is. He's a good one. He's not an ashy one. Jeez.
Exactly.
Thanks, Jesus. As I point to the sky.
This is a prime opportunity for you to say your favorite meme. Bitch, what you just make me watch?
Jesus Christ! Jesus Christ! I'm sorry. There's this meme of this California gangbanger, and he's like crip walking
Banging for
hard
Jesus.
to Jesus. He be banging for Jesus, like yeah, Jesus, yeah, and he like crip walking, doing all this stuff. And he say, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ. And so I say it all the time, but no one knows where it comes from. So I literally sent it to Kenrya and said, you have to watch this because I at least need someone to know what the fuck I mean when I shout Jesus Christ. And so, yeah, because I be banging for Jesus. He my homeboy.
Apparently. Yes.
In a crib.
Yes.
Sorry,
Apparently.
buds.
Don't come for us.
Don't come for us. We think he loves all the sets. Okay. Sorry about that. Non sequitur. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
We have lots
I'm
of non
not
sequiturs.
apologizing.
Okay. From Deep Within. So
This
I'll let you
one
take that one, Kenrya.
Sure. There were two themes that came up for me here. One of them is the refrain that comes up, which is that a woman's body must be taught to speak. Excuse me. And I think it gets at one of the things we talk about on the show all the time, which is that, like, you have to learn your body in order to be able to make it do what you want it to do. So, I think that people think that there's this innate ability to be able to derive
it's
pleasure.
magical, like tap into it. Yeah.
And so then that creates
Which is
frustration.
to a point, but yeah.
Sure, but I think that when you expect to be able to, flick a clit
Know it
and
all.
come,
Yeah.
that there's a lot of frustration that comes in, whether it's solo play or play with a partner. And then that can mean that you're not willing to try things. And I'm not saying that it needs to be work, because I'm not doing sex that's work. I'll do something else. But that it does mean that you have to be in tune with your body and be willing to touch it and not be afraid. Because you and I know we have some friends who we still working on to not be afraid of touching their bodies and knowing what they like. Shit, if you don't get nothing else from this show, we hope that you can figure out what you like and what works for your body and how to make it speak. And
We
so
should
that was
do
one
the
of the things
mirror,
that stood out
a
for
mirror
me.
exercise with our girlfriends. Make them stare at their pussy.
We should do that. Y'all should do that too.
Yeah, just look at it. Look at it. Get to know it.
For
And know that she's beautiful in her own
a minute.
right. Yeah, just look.
Not on some
Look at it.
comparison shit. Literally just
Be
look
comfortable with it. Because now that I'm working from home, one of the things I watch during the day is Botched. I'm really into like watching plastic surgeries and how to fix them. Maybe it's because now I've done it, but I'm really into it. And it makes me so sad when I hear about women doing the designer vagina surgery where they like get their labia cut so they look a particular way. And I'm just like, girl, like, your pussy fine. Your pussy is your pussy. And one of the things that I've realized, not that you need validation from others, but one of the things that I've learned as I've started enjoying OnlyFans and talking to more and learning more from sex workers, there is a niche market for everything. Some niggas love long ass pussy lips. Some niggas love one being lopsided. And just because it doesn't look like what you've seen presented in porn doesn't mean that it's not normal, And so
it's true. Although I think we need to also make sure that we make space for people who have those surgeries, but as after trauma, whether it be a traumatic birth or an assault, folks who have it because they are undergoing, a transformation of their bodies to align with their gender identity. There are reasons to have that surgery.
No, I'm talking about the bitches that they've had 30 surgeries, 15 liposuctions, and then they're like,
oh, my pussy's next.
And I wanted a cute little vagina. And it's like,
what's cute?
Exactly. We need to not use, there's no baseline. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, your body is your body. God put it together for this reason. So just enjoy it. You shouldn't have to feel like you have to do more or change it. So, sorry. I went off on a rant. Stop apologizing. But you're right.
Stop apologizing.
Okay,
Mama. It's your show. You get to do what the fuck you want.
Yeah. So I think it's so important for women to learn their bodies and learn to love their bodies.
Exactly. And I think that really plays into the other theme that I saw here was that she relates the body and the pleasure that comes from it directly to nature. So she talks about the sea, she talks about light, she talks about fire, she talks about all of these things that we think of as being of the earth and of the universe that we occupy, and puts knowing your body and the pleasure that you can get from it right in league with those things. Reminding us that there's nothing unnatural about those acts.
So beautiful.
That was key.
Yeah. Also, those are things that cannot be tamed, you know, like your
Yeah.
pleasure and your all the good fun feelings. It's just go with it. Get sucked up into that sea of a good orgasm. Let it wash over
Yes.
you.
Yes. And then, I mean, she ends on a note that does exactly that. Like succulent meats, it must be sucked and eaten. Oof.
I
Yes,
thought of
bitch.
mangoes when she said that, like a good juicy mango. Yeah.
She said meat. I don't even eat meat, but I was like,
Mango
yes.
meat.
Oh, okay.
No,
Don't
Yeah.
call it that.
don't call it mango meat. My bad.
I know. I said I don't call it what you want.
Oh, okay. Look, we do what you want. Whatever floats,
Exactly.
whatever tickles your pickle.
Exactly.
Aftermath for Marty. You can just like when I read this, I like felt like hugged up in like post sex afterglow.
And I think that's exactly what, this is. It's what it brought me to. She's lying there watching her lover sleep after they've had sex. I've totally done that. Sounds
lover
creepy.
Marty.
Don't care. I've done it. I do it.
Yeah, I guess I haven't been in like love because I'd be like,
Well, part of the problem is
nigga
that
Ray.
I know, like, what I hear is that a lot of folks are, and I have been that person, but I am not that person now. After I have sex, I'm awake, like wide awake. Like, let's watch a movie. Let's talk about all the things awake after I come. I do not get sleepy.
Yeah, and so you sitting there staring at my ass, and
Yes.
you watching me in the goodest sleep, the goodest
Exactly
sleep that.
that.
I've had in a
Because my
long
partner
time.
is instantly exhausted when we're done. And
Like,
I'm like,
whew.
hey, what we doing next? He's like, if you don't take your ass to bed, but I don't ever want to. So I am watching
You're
him fall
Pat.
asleep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I'm Pat in this scenario. But I thought it was dope. Like, I think she's doing something that I've absolutely done, which is closing my eyes and replaying what just happened. And not on some, like we've talked about in other episodes, where you got to replay it so you can have sex with this nigga that's not as good. See how to get yourself there. But just in some, damn, that was good. Let's do the play-by-play again right quick.
Yeah.
And so it also helps me to fall asleep when I do that, which is probably why I do it so often. Because I'm not tired.
Have you ever? This usually happens to me like fresh out of a. I'm sorry. This usually happens to me fresh out of a good session, where I wake up or I'll do something and like get an instant flash and like go weak.
Yes.
It's like I was in CVS and I went to grab something and saw my wrist and was like, oh shit.
I call those aftershocks.
Ooh, yes. A good
Yeah.
aftershock. Yeah. Those are lovely, especially when it's not for I need to go to sleep or, I'm trying to tap into it for another session.
Yeah,
but
like
just
where
in
I'm just driving in my car.
Yeah, and you just like, whoo.
And your pussy do that little clench thing.
Uh-huh. It's like, girl, babies, calm down, girlfriend. We'll see him later.
Exactly that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, though. Oh, that is so lovely. Something else about this that stood out to me was I think of the straight person who asks you, what do you do in bed? And I think that just, again, setting baseline. Like, straight sex isn't the baseline. Just because it's your baseline doesn't mean that
Right.
it's
People act like it's the fucking
baseline.
default. Like there's no other way to have sex. As
Yeah.
if straight people all have sex the same way anyway.
Exactly.
That shit dumb.
You have sex with enough people, you will realize that some folks be doing it very different. We all generally call it sex, but under that umbrella of sex, there's a whole lot of factions. So I thought it was really cool that she was like, girl, I didn't ask the same thing because y'all ain't as not as fun as we are.
Yeah, and I love that she called it out, right? That it, in this poem that could have just been about the afterglow, she's like, let me talk to these straight niggas for a minute.
Oh, what
Like,
you were missing out on.
Exactly. Just
Oh,
let
the
y'all
world
know.
does not revolve around your type of sex, your section under the umbrella. So that was a good
Yeah.
one. It was a cute one. All right, my baby's a bass player. I love this one. It's a jazzy little one. You can hear the music as you read it. It was so cute. And then the last line, thank you, Jesus, she don't play the tambourine. I was like, oh, that reminded me of the setting that I hate on my vibrator.
Oh, that. Do you have one of those?
Yeah,
Because I don't like it.
girl, who?
I think
Who
it's supposed to
using
be like
this
a
one?
pulsing. I'm like, this don't feel good.
Not for me. If it feels good for you, great. And I'm glad that you have that setting.
Yeah, I'm glad they made it for you. It don't work for me though. I just turn my shit up as high as it goes.
Girl. I had to dial it back recently. So I was like, okay, let's change it up. Again.
Reset yourself a bit.
Yeah, because honey, I was like, volume was at max. And it wasn't working. So I was like, you know what? Let's change positions and change the pulsations. Sorry.
Did that help?
Yeah, it did. We have a quickie where somebody asks, can you break your pussy? And not that you can break it, but you can definitely get it used to 10 volume on your back. So, yeah. But this is really cool because to me, the cadence of it falls into a rhythm, which is like your partner falling into a rhythm of knowing your body and knowing how to play your body.
Yeah.
And that's
Have you
really
ever had
dope.
a partner who knew your body like her baby who's a bass player?
Yeah. And it is amazing. And he actually got it on the first try. I think because we talked a lot beforehand. But he knew exactly what to do, how to do it. And this is one of my current partners. And it has been really great because he jumps in like he done been there nonstop. And I was just like, woo, honey, you ain't even got to work for it. I mean, he's working while he's doing it, but there wasn't a lot of do this, do that. I mean, because I am a lover that I gets mine. I will tell you what I like, what I need, what I want. And so it's always lovely when I don't have to do lots of direction. I don't mind giving direction, but when I don't have to, it's like, this was a good situation. What about you?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, my current partner, I remember when I was telling y'all about it after, because, I tell.
We totally kiss and tell. I'll tell you the details. But,
Yeah,
I mean,
but
I don't
enough.
need you at Thanksgiving being like, hey, left hook, pass the peas. But, yeah.
Exactly. But I remember the first time we had sex, it was on Christmas. And we went for 4 rounds within the first, 36 hours. And I came 5 times. It was fantastic.
Damn.
It was just right out the gate. And it's funny because we were lying in bed after sex the other day. And I was like, because I was actually thinking about this. I was like, how many times would you have given it if the first time we had sex was trash? And he was like, I'm a man. What's trash sex?
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Oh,
He's
God.
like, you got to understand, to men, I mean, obviously this is a generalization, but to men, sex is like pizza. You can't have bad pizza. He was like, maybe there's a topping on it that you don't want. You just take that shit off and you keep going. He was like, I liked everything else. So if the sex wasn't right from the beginning, I just would have kept fucking you. So
yeah,
there's that.
I can see that. I can see that. But trash sex is,
well,
so what if you had a partner?
Is different for us, I think. And that's what I told him.
Continue.
Yeah, because he was like, well, how long would you have gone? I was like, you maybe might have got 3 times because I liked everything else about you. I was like, because what you got to understand, at least in my experience as a cis woman who has sex with men, trash sex is often painful. It can be dehumanizing because it often feels like they're having sex with someone who's not really there, because it means that they're not at all in tune with your needs. They're not being responsive to your body, to what you're saying verbally, to what your body is telling them. They're just trying to get off. And that can cause injury. That can cause a whole bunch of shit. I'm like, so for me, my experience, trash sex has been detrimental to me. So I wouldn't keep doing something like that. And then I like told him the story about the jackhammer dude, which he had heard before, but I gave some more detail. Yes.
Yeah.
And then he was able to understand like why bad sex is bad sex for me. But go ahead, what were you going to say?
So what if you had a guy, perfect, great, communicate, everything is great out of the bedroom, and the sex is trash? Like y'all trying to talk through it. Like you're trying everything. He's respectful. Hey, this don't work. Let's try it this way. This ain't working. That was us on our side doing my fave move. One of my faves. Yeah. Everything else is clicking. And even as you try to work through it, you're trying to work through it together. But it's just like his dick ain't working.
I think it depends on it depends on 2 things. One of them is timing. So if we a few weeks in and I think I like everything, but the sex is bad, I'm not sticking around for that. I don't have enough invested, and I'm not interested in throwing good shit after bad shit at that point in a situation. I'm cutting ties. It's cool. We can literally be friends, because if I don't want to have sex with you for whatever reason, then I don't see a romantic future. And I have we were just talking about that, like, stop dating men who I thought were fantastic, who, were great on paper, who I had a good time with, but who there was literally no spark with. I did not at all feel compelled to put my pussy on them. And so I ended it because sex is important to me. And I don't want to be with somebody who I have to do that much work with to make it work. Now, if this were some universe where I had somehow put in several months of getting to know this person and we hadn't had sex yet and I had somehow fallen, you hear the skepticism in my voice?
Yeah, I definitely
I'd be more willing.
We fuck early.
Yeah, I guess I would be more willing to put in some kind of work. But the idea of like seeing a sex therapist or whatever the hell with somebody from the beginning just feels like a lot to me. I'll be honest. Maybe that makes me sound shallow, but I like sex and I like
No,
sex.
it's a lot of work to go in the beginning. I mean, I definitely believe, if we've been together and issue comes up, by all means,
then absolutely, let's do every fucking thing we can.
But yeah, I believe in the beginning it's supposed to be easy.
Yeah, like this is the easiest it's ever gonna be. Y'all ain't came to no real obstacles together. So if the shit that's supposed to just fall together ain't falling together, then what is we gonna do?
When I don't know. Really gotta put some shit together and got bills and kids and all that bullshit on top. Yeah,
right.
I agree.
So I will say that the other part of that though is, what does working for it look like? So if he can't make me come with, penis and vagina, there's a lot of different ways to have sex, like we just talked about.
Show up in my house excited with a bag of toys.
Exactly. Like if he is still, if we are able to work together and he doesn't have insecurities and things like that that keep him from being able to do other things in order to make sure that I am, one, getting off, but that we're also able to connect intimately, because it's not just about me being able to actually come, right? It's about the intimacy, as we've been talking about, that can come with having sex with somebody. So if he's willing to invest in that and do that work, then that's different. So I guess it depends on what the work looks like. If the work just looks like, let's try this different position, let's try this position, I'm good.
Yeah, but again, that's a lot of work to put in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So, well,
Yup.
thankfully, we're gonna toss one up for men that, for those lucky happenstances where we all we find the right person that just happens to know you. And I also feel like that's why women get stigmatized because they be like, he know my body. It's like, girl, he just fucked you well. Like,
Yeah, it can't be the only thing. It has to
yeah,
be
like
part of a constellation of things.
a constellation of love. That's a
Ooh.
70s song written by Sly and the Family Song or something. But sorry. Constellation of love. Constellation of love. People in bell bottoms? No? Okay, fine then.
On
Metamorphosis.
Soul Train?
Our final poem. Yeah, Soul Train.
Yeah.
So Metamorphosis, our final poem. I looked at this one as just, giving yourself to your lover, handing yourself over wholeheartedly. And that is a revolutionary act. Because I feel like, so right now that I'm single and healthier and I am ready for a relationship, I realized that like it took a while for me to get to the point where I was like, yo, I'm ready I'm ready to love someone. And that was a decision that I had to make because I have been doing so much hard work on myself for so long to be I had to get to a place where I wanted to be open enough to give myself and allow myself to be in love, because I feel like love is revolutionary. Like revolution is a change, revolution is a cycle. And being in love and loving someone changes you. It changes how you look at things. It changes how you respond to things. I mean, like the core and the essence of you should never, like that shit, like don't change. But at the same time, like love is a process, and it's a metamorphosis.
Any good process changes you in some way.
Exactly. And so I had to get to a point where I was comfortable with allowing that to happen. Does that make sense? Like I say all the time to my therapist, like I feel like the work that I've done with her has been like me building this beautiful sandcastle on the beach. And it took me a really long time to be willing to like let a wave take it under. And my therapist always said, she would always be like, hey, but now you have the tools. Now you know how to rebuild. And I get it, but I was like, but girl, this is cute. We don't need to remodel. We're fine right how we are. But I'm finally like, really, because I've said this, I think I've said to you for a while, like, okay, I think I'm ready for a relationship. But it'll be like, more in the sense of if I'm walking down the street and a nigga hit me head with a shoe and I'm like, oh, great, we can be together. But I'm finally at the point, actually, this is what I was going to talk with her today about. Like, I'm finally at the point where I'm like, I want to love somebody and I want somebody to love me. And I want all of the good and juicy and ugly bits that come with it,
Okay, I have a question.
Oh, shit.
Does the fact that we are...
I said I was going to talk to her about it, not you.
Well, bitch, it's too late. This is what I was going to ask your ass after therapy anyway. Is the current situation and the fact that we are in, isolation a factor there?
I think it is, in the sense that, like, I'm not so desperate. Like we were saying when we were setting up, that I want somebody to come rub on my booty. Like if I could postmate a nigga to come and rub on my booty, yes, it would happen. So there's that. But I do think that this situation has caused me to want to be in a relationship now and be in love. But I think it's more because I've had time to like think about like the development, and I've been reading old journals, and just I've kind of started thinking more about where I was, where I am, and like cancer and all of that. And so it's just, I've had more time to think about where I am and what I want, as opposed to just like, bitch, I'm ready for somebody to come rub my booty. Because, I mean, that's going to happen. As soon as the outside open.
Loneliness.
Yeah, as soon as the world open, I'm going to get a nigga to come rub my booty. Like, that's no problem. Like, so, like, the connection that I'm missing, I will get. Yeah. The intimacy that I'm missing, I will get. But I'm ready to go on the journey with someone of, love. Now, the problem is, here comes the nigga. I don't know if I'm quite ready for, I don't want to have to find that person. I just want them to show up. Like, is the doorbell gonna ring? I know. So, yeah, that's the part that I'm like, because I also, see, now we about to get into some therapy. I also am comfortable just fucking and having fun and having a nigga come to rub on my booty. And so I need to figure out how to move from we fucking, we having fun to I'm looking for someone to love. And it's hard for me to embrace that process fully because I don't want to get hurt. There's that fear of like getting hurt and putting yourself out there only for it to fail. And so it's easy for me to be like, you know what? We ain't even gonna worry about that. You gonna come over, drop off some bomb dick, and head on home. Mm-hmm. So,
are you talking about transitioning particular people from one thing to the other?
No, just transitioning
your mindset and what you're looking for.
Transitioning my mindset.
Yeah.
Because I want to still do the fun fucking as I'm looking for the right person.
Well,
does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can.
Which means I'm going to probably be fucking hoteps just so that I can strictly keep them in your face, fix it. Yeah. So that I can strictly keep them in the place of like, this ain't going no fucking where.
Happen. Yeah.
Exactly. But like transitioning my mind from looking, because it's kind of like you look at a nigga and you're like, fuck him. Relationship. And I'm afraid that I'm going to like throw everybody in the fuck 'em pile.
Well, I'll say this. I think that you can have the folks who you fuck, and maybe that's the people who you're currently fucking, or maybe it's other people who you find. But I think the best way to make the transition is to be super transparent about what you're looking for. So for me, I knew that I was looking for a relationship. That didn't mean that I didn't want to have sex, but it meant that every person who I engaged with was somebody who met a certain set of criteria, so that if I did decide that they were somebody who I want to go, not even if I didn't even move forward with anybody who didn't meet those criteria, period. So I knew, I didn't want anybody who was so overwhelmed with their misogyny that they couldn't even answer a simple question about R. Kelly or Bill Cosby the right way. Because you'd be surprised how shitty of answers I got from people when I asked about those situations. I didn't want anybody who was homophobic or transphobic. So I asked fucking questions and brought things up to see what their responses would be and all kinds of shit. It's like, I'm an interview, I'm a journalist. So I basically interviewed these niggas without feeling like an interview. And if they didn't meet those criteria, then pussy wasn't even an option for me. But maybe in your situation, you regulate them to the pussy category. And then you keep looking and you sort people according to how they respond to your prompts. And then for the folks who make it through that filter, you have an honest conversation about where you are right now and where you want to go. Nobody expects you to lock it down and just be with them because you just met them today and maybe are going to go on a good date. You know what I mean? So you can still have the sexy time stuff, but also be working toward the relationship that you want to have. And those things don't have to be mutually exclusive, because hopefully the person who, gets sorted into the maybe this is a relationship pile. And, our therapist always says you should have at least 3 of them niggas going at a time anyway. you know, you get to have good sex with one of them, and then that one becomes the one because all the cylinders are firing. I don't think it has to be an either or situation.
Yeah. Well,
But I also
we'll
think
figure it out.
that you need to do that exercise that I keep telling you to do. And maybe this is a good
Yeah.
time to do it now that you've decided that you want to be in relationships, and do a list of what you want in a mate and a list of how you want to feel when you are with that person, so that you can use that as a guide as you're moving forward.
Okay. We'll revisit that.
Okay.
You can tell I'm not excited about doing a list.
I can see it doesn't have to be work, though.
Yeah. We'll see. I've been staying up late. I've been having my night naps, so maybe it'll be a post night nap activity.
Yeah, I can see when you get up for your night naps because my fucking phone is full of all you bitches waking up from your night naps.
My bad. My bad. We
It's
literally
fine.
had a whole
I just wake
thread.
up to 100 and some odd.
We had a
texts.
whole thread off thread about Kenrya gonna be so pissed. And I said, she mutes groups. She'll get to us when she wants to. And
It's
then our
true,
other
yeah,
friend
no.
was like, oh, carry on. And we went back to this thread. Like, we don't
Yeah,
want to leave
I
her
don't give a
out. She's
fuck.
just going to come back. And because everyone in that group has Apple phones, it's
Yeah.
not like you're coming back.
Those
to
are real messages.
200 messages of so-and-so liked what so-and-so said.
Oh my God. So emphasized.
So-and-so laughed at.
Ooh, friend, can you please get an iPhone?
Friend, get an iPhone. You know who we talking
We
about.
love
Everybody know who we talking about. Our friend group knows who we talking about. Okay. What about you and love as a revolutionary act? Since I hogged all your time, talk about my issues.
No. I mean, I agree. I think, I've not shied away from talking about the fact that, I have generalized anxiety disorder and also have PTSD as a result of the ways that relationships have played out, the things that I have been through, including like domestic violence, all kinds of shit. And so for me, the way that love is revolutionary at this time, at least, is that it looks like me being able to be vulnerable. In a lot of different ways. So one, like being able to come out of what I have come out of and not be, bitter is a really simple word, but to not think that everybody sucks just because I have had some experiences with some really sucky people, and to be able to be hopeful and to continue to try, because I think that there are a lot of people who, and there's no judgment attached to this at fucking all, but who go through shit and are just like, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to be in another relationship. And I was there. Like, I was like, I ain't fucking with nobody. I don't want to be in nobody's relationship. I don't want to be in nobody's marriage. I don't want to do any of those things. And it took a lot of time and therapy and healing for me to be able to get to a place where I could open up and do those things. And like we've talked about, like the what was it? It wasn't the sex cleanse, but where that we both had to
Sex
do where
sabbatical.
we weren't. Yes, the sabbatical where we weren't allowed to engage with folks who, in any way, sexually or anything. Excuse me. And that was a really important part of the process for me, because it helped me to really focus on myself and to take the time I needed to be able to build up to that point. But I also had vulnerability issues that date way, way back. And they're not all just tied to romantic relationships, but just to things that happened when I was growing up that kept me from being able to be, yeah, like being able to be open about what was going on in my life, or being able to be open about the way that I was feeling because I was told that the way that I felt was wrong, because gaslighting is a thing in my family. And so it took me a long time to be able to get to that point. And so it feels revolutionary to me that I am able to even future dream when it comes to relationships, to think about what might be and to be vulnerable enough to voice those things, not just on this show, but in real life. Whereas I was not that person before, because I was always worried that I would get hurt because I had been hurt so many times before. But it also looks like the fact that the love that we have for ourselves as Black people and for other Black people really acts as armor in a world that doesn't really love us. And that feels revolutionary to me. You know, we are told at every fucking turn that we are less desirable, especially Black women, that, you know, we are ugly and I'm dark, that's a problem. And I have been, Lord, talk real bad about because of that. And I'm gorgeous. But like,
Fine and a motherfucker.
Thank you. But both on the micro and the macro level, we're told that we're unlovable, and to love ourselves in the face of that, and to love each other in the face of that,
Out loud.
that feels like a special type of freedom.
Big. Yeah. You summed it up so perfectly.
Thanks.
Love for Black people. Okay, well, that's all I have. So this wraps up our penultimate episode. We will be back next week.
You love that word. Of this season, because we'll be back.
Let me not say of this episode. This show of this season. So we will be back next week with a fabulous interview, and then that will wrap up season 2.
Yeah.
Can you believe
Crazy.
it? Wow.
Kinda not.
Yeah.
Shit's weird.
Yeah, it is. But nonetheless, we in this bitch. Woo woo. Yeah. So, Erica and Kenrya, 2 hoes, making it clap. Wait, girl. Now you could. You saw me going up. You could have.
I was trying not to hit the mic. Want to do it again?
You saw me going up. You could have. Okay, bye, y'all. This episode was produced by us, Erica and Kenrya, and edited by Ballistic. The theme song is from Brazy. We want to hear from y'all. Send your book recommendations and all the burning sex and related questions you want us to answer to theturnonpodcast@gmail.com. And please subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app. Follow us on Twitter @theturnonpod and Instagram @theturnonpodcast. And find links to our books, transcripts, guest info, and other fun stuff at theturnonpodcast.com. And remember, The Turn On is now a part of the Frolic Podcast Network. You can find more shows you'll love at frolic.media/podcast. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon. Holla!